You don't just mistakenly become great at something. You probably at one time or another believe that you can be great at that. And then you work to get great at that, and you reach that greatness.
This is the West, where living life is a test. The quest is to be the best, a cut above all the rest, yes. So who's on in it for the war story? Combat, boom, bap, two straps, click, clack, bring it back. All of the above, Dazzy D, Don Dub, West with it, yeah, we with it. Show the coast love with it, get it. Sit back, sip and blow, it's not your ordinary show. We dig deep into the music, it's a psych, it's how we do it. How we up and teach the class, future present in the past. Make it last, hit a smash to our success, raise your glass. So let's begin, it started off with a win to fans, family, and friends. That's how we get it. West with it. We got topics on top of topics. The topic that we always never stopping, steady bobbing, keep it popping, keep it popping. You're tuned in, so relax, kick back. Dazzy D, Don Dub, West with it, so 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 with it, so.
We are live on Facebook. We appreciate the West With It family. We promise you we do a live every third Sunday, and here it is. Irregardless of technical difficulties, we navigated it, we got it squared away, and here we are. I am your host, Don Dub, and here is the other host, Dazzy D. Now, it's a live. We ain't gonna get too deep, but D, I don't know if you've been watching what's happening, dog.
There's so much going on.
There's a lot going on, but specifically with the nature of hip hop and the intellectual aspect of consciousness returning to the forefront. Do you see that? Can you catch
Yes,
that
sir.
that shift, that change happening?
Yeah, homie. I think it's a beautiful shift too, because
Yeah,
we standing on something, brother, and that's dope.
yeah. And once again, it had to be us to come and rattle the cage of hip hop and bring in some new fresh perspective, right?
hmm
Kind of, I think it's customary for our tradition and how we entered the game previously, and for us to do it again with this go around. But specifically around DJ Head going over to the Warrior Mile show and having like a setup debate about the battle, because Mile is like a Drake sympathizer, somebody who's collaborated with Drake in the past, and he's been loud and boisterous throughout the battle and since the battle about Drake's point, his viewpoints, and things that he decided to do during the battle and what have you. The debate, reason why I bring that up, because the debate showed me the line in the sand, if you will, um, seemingly about what's changing in hip hop and what's happening. You got those people that are just like blind Drake supporters, regardless of what Kendrick did that was great. They're not gonna give it up. They're not gonna say, yeah, that was smooth. Nothing. They just gonna be like, well, Drake still this or that, right? And so they
Yes, sir.
going crazy on Twitter since this debate, and the people are getting, they choosing their side, right? And it's a clear difference between the Kendrick supporters, whether they from the West Coast or not, just Kendrick fans, and the Drake fans, and how they communicate and how their perspective on what happened during the battle and their realistic view of the shift in culture. Is that something you can agree to or attest to from just
Well,
stuff
you
you
know
see?
what, homie? I mean, the only thing I can do is deal with the past, right?
Right.
And as far as what I mean by that is, I can only go off what was already done, right? I can
Okay.
only. So here's the only thing that's goofy about this whole fan thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that Beyonce Beehive thing, homie? That Nicki Minaj, the Barbies, right?
Right.
They got it now, man, where the culture is die hard. I'm a die hard, meaning right or wrong, I'm a ride,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
Right.
that was never like that in hip hop before, homie. Like, you was a die hard fan, but if
Mm-hmm.
your artist that you ride for lost in the battle, you gonna go, well, y'all got us this one, but next one, you know what I'm saying? It was more
100%.
like that. It was more like you was willing to accept defeat, you know what I'm saying? But that didn't change your attitude about your artist. Your artist just
Sure.
got in that particular battle, right?
Sure,
This
sure,
one right
sure.
here, homie, watching these fans, bro, they trying to take it to another goofy level to me, homie, where it's like, oh, so I don't care. What about Drake doing this? And so I don't
Yeah,
care. What about Kendrick
yeah,
doing? And I'm like, come on, man, that's goofy, bro. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's goofy. The man lost, Drake lost.
Right,
I'm not saying that because I like Kendrick, I like Dot, homie, but
right.
just looking at the battle as a fan, because I'm always a fan first of the
Mm-hmm,
culture
mm-hmm.
faster than I am of a particular artist. So as
Sure.
a fan of the culture, bro, I got to give that to Kendrick, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna
And I
sit up
think
here.
no, I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Finish your
I
point.
was just gonna say I'm not gonna sit up here, bro, and make no excuses for no artists. If they lost, they lost. Let's keep it moving, homie. It's hip hop. It's fun. Let's keep it going.
That brings me to my next point, though. My next
Mhm.
point is that almost shows how much that fan base of Drake's doesn't understand the culture of hip hop.
There you have it, homie.
Because if they did, they would have no choice but to say, you know what, based on all of that information and what we know about the culture, yeah, it's a clear win. No knock to Drake, still a phenomenal artist. He's
Yeah,
just
that
not,
part right there.
you know what I'm saying?
That part right there. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna stop if Drake dropped a record that I like, homie. I'm not gonna not listen to it because I'm a Kendrick
Right,
fan, homie. You see what I'm
right,
saying? And that's
right.
that's where the culture is getting very, very goofy, bro.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Um, there's all again, there's so much going on, but I'm excited about the time out here, because gives us a revitalized blood in the sense that uh, you know different perspectives of hip hop and the spectrum of the culture can be told and it can be dominant again. It's not. It just have to be for lack of a better term, gangster rap. I don't like calling it that because that's not what it. We never called it that.
Mhm.
The media termed
Reality
that
rap.
for us, right? Right.
Reality
But
rap.
we never came out like we gangster. It was just we was just telling our story and the way we live, and they termed it that, right?
Real
Um,
talk.
but our what the culture on the West Coast has always been dynamic. It's always been more than that. You got
Mhm.
the party dudes, you got the hustlers, you got different aspects of West Coast culture that's still dope. And I think now it lends itself for that to be told and people to catch a vibe from that.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that? Or how that's going to be handled, or some of the artists you look to start peaking and having moments because of that change?
I love it, bro. I mean, here's the thing, brother. I'm all for momentum,
Hmm.
right? Long as
Hmm.
there's some momentum and it's positive momentum, right? I'm good with it. Dub, like
Right.
I have no problems with any artist that's true to their art form stepping in and either taking the reins or shifting the dynamics because
Hmm.
of what they bring to the table, bro.
Right. 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 I dig that. I dig that. Um, did you catch what's happening with the Kendrick stadium tour?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I caught a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? That what was that, the Texas show or whatever everybody
The
was making a
Texas
big
show,
fuss
yeah,
about?
I think the other show last night was raining, and he did it anyway, where other artists might have canceled or postponed
Hmm.
until the more favorable weather for the they would have he decided to perform in the rain throughout the whole show, and
Hmm.
kind of like his fans was kind of like appreciative of that.
Hmm.
Didn't make any announcements, he didn't post anything, he just did it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, Largest grossing one night stadium tour by a solo hip hop act.
Hmm.
I think it was 9 million, 10 million, something like that. Um,
Hmm.
Again, all stadiums nationwide. Um,
Hmm.
the chatter is that this is something that is going to change the shape of hip hop, West Coast hip hop, and just hip hop overall. Um,
Hmm.
do you think he's like carrying the mantle right now in terms of just leading the way for a new vibe or a new age in the culture?
Yes and no. I think it's gonna take for me to say it like that. I think it'll take another artist to kind of do the same thing. Because
Okay.
really, truthfully, bro, the way I think Kendrick is doing it right now, he's blessed, bro. Like it's a perfect storm for him, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
coming off one of the biggest battles of
Hmm.
hip hop with two of the biggest artists in hip hop. Then you
Right.
coming off the Super Bowl. right?
Right,
Well, let me
right.
back up. You're coming off the one of the biggest battles in hip hop history, right?
Mhm.
You created one of the biggest movement songs, moving songs of this era, right?
Right,
Then to
right.
top it off, you did the Super Bowl months later. So he just it's just a perfect storm, bro.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You feel me? So I think that's what it is.
Does that put TDE in the conversation of greatest independent black-owned labels in hip hop?
Um, I think talent wise it does. I don't,
Mm,
I don't really know. Like, some might deal off the numbers or whatever. I'm saying number wise, I'm not quite sure because I know, Dot does what Dot does, but I'm not
yeah,
sure, how much, all the other artists moved. I know old girl, she moving some
Sessa
things.
killing it. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
you feel me?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I don't even want to go off that. If you're asking me personally, bro, I think talent wise,
Hmm.
I think they're probably one of the top biggest independent labels to really understand what artistry is. I give them that all day, bro.
Sure, sure. Hey man, thank you for joining us, man. It's the West With It live show. We do this every third Sunday. Me and D go live. If you tapped in right now, stay with us, man. We chopping it up. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the West With It family. Please subscribe on YouTube. Um, we would be streaming there live today, but we had to go through some of the processes that YouTube mandates to make it official, like a referee whistle. So we willing to do that. We want to do everything properly and right. But hey, man, share this live, man. Share it to your friends. Tell them to tap in. Come join the conversation. Um, we're interested to see some of y'all thoughts and comments in the section. So please don't be shy. You know what I'm saying? If you agree, disagree, or have a different opinion, please put it in there. We having
Yes,
an
sir.
intellectual conversation, breaking things down about the movement on the West Coast and everything happening in hip hop and the culture. So all are welcome.
Yes, sir.
With that said, uh, they offered your boy Diddy a 5-year
Hmm.
plea deal. He
Hmm.
looking at 20 years. You think he should take it?
Nah,
You say you ain't working with him, huh?
nah, I ain't working with him, homie. Because here's the thing about the plea, right? And I just watched brother Dr. Umar on another cast about the same thing. He was saying,
Yeah,
if he take the plea, bro, then that's admitting
guilt.
know, guilt, right? So if
Right.
he once he admit guilt, bro, that mean that now they can tamper with all his assets, homie. So
Sure.
yeah, what if he do 20? He gonna come home to nothing. I mean nothing.
Right.
You feel
Right.
me?
Right. Do the 20,
That's
walk it
to
off.
me, that's not the risk, bro. I wouldn't take that risk. I mean, especially if I feel like I'm innocent or I am innocent.
Yeah, but if he get found guilty, he walk that off. He looking at getting out around 78, something like that, ain't it? Because he's
Yeah,
50
that's
something.
with nothing though, bro.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
feel
Right.
me?
No. Right.
With
Yeah, I hear that.
nothing.
Right. Right. I think it's a classic Fed move, they evidence might not be as strong, but they know they can drag it out and they can, like you said, mess with you. They got him. They denied his bail. He's been in there about a year. They
Mhm,
give him time served on the 5, right? He'd be out in
mhm,
3.5, but then he'd be walking around with that on his jacket, right? Um,
mhm.
but that's a classic, Fed move where they may not get to 20, but they're trying to get you to take something so they can say it's a
Yeah, yeah.
successful case,
So they
right?
could take
Justify.
everything, bro.
Right, right, right. So
So I'm
I'm
saying,
somebody with that amount of money. I'm interested to see how he plays ball and if he decides to go to trial with that and combats some of the
yeah.
strategy
Well,
the feds trying to throw him. Because the offer the 5, that just tells me everything right there. You offer me 5, you brought me in here. First, you was gonna try to hit me with life. Now you offer me 5 years, which means you just want me to take something so you say it's successful.
yeah, that right
If I
there.
got
That's what
access
I'm
to that
saying.
cash, I'm getting the best lawyers. We going to war. You know what I'm saying?
Look, homie, look, only him and God know if he innocent, bro. Because if
Yeah,
I'm innocent, oh no, man, and I got the bread to fight. Come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
homie,
I'm not.
I'm all
Yeah,
in. Hey,
yeah.
look, hey, lace up your bootstraps, homie. We going in, homie.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's
yeah.
just real interesting to see how they doing it. Um, hey, welcome to the live. I see people joining on Facebook, man. Thank you for tapping in. We having an intellectual conversation about hip hop and hip hop culture, man. Um, shout out to you if you're in the comments. Leave us a comment, man. Share this live. We usually do this every third Sunday for the West With It live show. Um, your boy Don Dub and my man Dazzy D. We trying to provide something different. We trying to stay in our lane and do our own thing. You dig? But thank you for watching. Um, I was scrolling the gram, you know how we be finding stuff on there, and uh, I'm interested to see your point or perspective on lowrider culture, man, because I'm
Hmm.
seeing it in other regions of the world,
Hmm.
and it's represented a certain way, but
Hmm.
I don't see us in that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? What are
yeah.
your thoughts on its growth and seeing it around the world and
I'm,
seeing other people, you know, tap into it and kind of like live with it?
well, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing about our culture, bro. Like our culture be popping so long that about time everybody else catch on, bro, we
Yeah,
kind of fade and looking to
yeah,
the next, right?
yeah,
So, you know, if it wouldn't have took reality rap to show a couple lowriders in music videos, bro, a lot of places wouldn't even know what lowriding was, right?
right,
So
right.
we here with it, homie. It's like, yeah, I still got a few homies that low ride. I'm quite sure you do too, right?
Yeah, sure.
But I don't think that culture is as strong here like it was. You feel me? Like now,
Right.
you got motorcycle, you know,
Motorcycle clubs and
crews
stuff.
now,
Yeah,
homie. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
got bike crews now. You feel me? That
yeah, yeah.
that's taking that same energy and giving that same energy. So
Okay.
I mean, it's cool to see other coaches do it and other places do it. That's dope. But you know how we get out, home. We on to the next, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was dope that Japan has a whole subculture in their country um, that honors lowrider culture
Mhm.
and the way that they put their own spin on it. These cars are like highly mechanical, highly hydraulic, refurbished to the T, really clean stuff.
Mhm.
Um, I think the part that I don't like so much about it is we're not always carried with the culture as it grows and spreads.
Mhm.
So some of the originators that added that flavor to lowrider culture as it reached our communities almost could be forgotten in a sense because their names are not known. Um, they're not carried forward. You know what I'm saying? You got to do some
Mhm.
digging and really find some of the originators of hydraulics in the way that we do it. I mean, there's
Yeah,
the
yes, sir.
kind of culture low rides, but they do it a certain way, and we just add another flavor to it, and it's not to take away from one or the other, but um, as these things progress, these innovations spread across the world, the originators that made that stuff happen and kind of brought
Yes,
that to
sir.
the street. You just don't hear them. You don't hear their stories. You don't hear their names. You don't see them plastered on the walls. You don't. There's no memorials. There's no monuments. There's nothing. And I think it almost deserves that if it's going to be a worldwide phenomenon. You know what I'm saying?
No, I totally agree, bro. I totally agree.
Yeah. So it's that thing that I kind of look at and be like, damn, I just wish people would take the time to really figure out the genesis of all this. Even though it is cool just to kind of adopt it, buy a low rider, kind of make it your own thing. But do you know where it comes from? Do you know who the first person was to flip a switch? Uh, you know, all these things will add to your knowledge of the culture and have you carry it and hold it in a certain way instead of just mimicking
Yeah,
what you see on the videos and TV. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
what you got? Anything out there? You came across anything you want to chop it up about?
Um,
You was just on you had a little mini vacay, dog.
yeah, yeah, homie. You know what I'm saying? I went lay low, man, because I've been doing so much with this music, man. I had to,
Right.
drop back and chill out for a minute, man, and recharge my batteries. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I had a thought about that 'cause after we had talked the other day. Um, and I've only known a few cats that work 24/7 in the studio as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they've had different philosophies to decompress and kind of step away. For
Mm-hmm.
me, changing the environment gives me a different creative energy. Would you say
Mm-hmm.
that what that is for you, or is it more like just stepping away, kind of just letting it go and coming back re-energized?
Yeah, it's just about stepping away, man. It's just about for me, it's about stepping away because how I usually do it is I'll step away and I just start noticing things more. So I try to think of things from a different perspective. You feel me?
Sure, sure.
Look at things from a different perspective. So when my batteries are charged,
Hmm.
I can come back, flipping something new or different or have a different approach to things.
Right, I dig it. I dig it. Dante tapped in. Salute to the Hog Mob, man. Salute to Dante. Um,
Mhm.
he says it's dope to see our culture evolve in all areas, but now we see the value added cars, music, and art benefiting and receiving back financially. That's
Mhm.
a great take. I can agree to that. I
Mhm.
think the representation piece for me is important, Tay. Only from the perspective of when hip hop first started. Now you see other people. I was on Instagram again, and I ran across this young man who's from the suburbs. Um, Obviously, he's not black.
Mhm.
And the thing that worked for me for Eminem was that uh, one, he put everybody that he grew up with on, right?
Mhm.
So he was
Mhm.
honoring the culture by bringing his people with him, and
Mhm.
they were from the culture. And
Mhm.
two, he was authentic to his experience in the culture. He didn't try to
Mhm.
mimic being a black rapper. He was just the cool white boy that could get on a mic and flip it, right?
Mhm.
And so I respected that perspective. But it seems like now hip hop has almost become like this commercialized antiquity where you could have a suburban kid who listened to some Migos rap, picked up the flow, and now he's doing his own thing, and it's just a pure mimic of what he was introduced to, and it's that scares me kind of because it's like the sensationalism around it is like, oh, where does this white boy go? And you know, it's like, man, he sound like Future, or he sound like Lil Baby. He's just white.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it's not to
Mhm.
be, it's not a race thing. It's just like we can't make that dope. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Mhm.
you got to come with your own get down, homie. You know what I mean? And so it's
Yeah.
that we can't. Culture is a way of life, right? So there could be
Yeah.
different people from different backgrounds that can come and live amongst the culture and adopt these practices and almost look authentic to the culture, right? Or
Mhm.
even in some cases be authentic to the culture.
Yeah, well, this is a generation, bro. Like everything is mimic. Like if you like it, that's what you do, right? And
Right, right,
it's impossible to be authentic that way, bro. So when
right.
you got other cultures and other races trying to do it, if they're just
Mhm.
mimicking, bro, it's not genuine and it's not gonna fly with us, bro. It's not gonna prosper, homie.
Right, right, right. Tay taps in again. He says, all money ain't good money. It's when we turn our creativity over for finances and it loses its authenticity. I think I agree with that, Tay, and I think that's the vibe that we're currently on is the authenticity piece. It's like we can
Mhm.
like being from the streets, we can tell when things aren't all the way what they being propositioned to be, whether it's energy or the person, the way they carry themselves, etc. And I think
Mhm.
we getting back to being authentic, and people doubling down on their stories and their narratives and who they are and what they do, and being good at that and pushing forward. Would you say the
Mhm.
same, D?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
but at some point though, that sounds more like a corporate aspect to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
more of a corporate thing because the culture can see all that. You feel me? The culture can
Yeah,
feel
sure.
all that. The culture can
Yeah.
decide if they want to get behind that. So I hear
Mhm.
what my brother's saying, but I'm just saying that sounds more of a from a business perspective as far as a label
Sure.
goes. Feel me?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Yeah, commercialized. I think there's a healthy balance, right? I don't have a problem with the corporatization if we own the corporation. I don't have a
that
problem with that. If it's our
part.
thing, you know what I'm
That
talking
part.
about? If we
That
not
part.
partnering up with somebody that's outside of the culture and giving them the creative rights and the executive ownership to
Yeah.
where we got to buy ourselves out of that deal. We already know what that looks like. We already know what that play is because now you holding the publishing, you holding all the coins, and I'm
That
I'm
part.
recouped and I can't figure a way out, and now I can't drop no mixtape or something and move units because I'm signed to this exclusive deal, right? Um, Whether things are good or bad, or if I decide to have a change or the infrastructure changes and I think I could do better on my own, I'm locked into this thing until I can find a way out. And I
Hey,
think if we would have knew that up hand, I don't think we would have married some of these corporations the way we did earlier.
yeah, and that's funny that you mentioned it too like that, man. I was watching some YouTube, this rapper, and
Hmm.
I think he was popping for a minute. And
Hmm.
and then the theme of his post was, man, major labels ruined my career,
Huh,
right? And
right.
he said the exact same thing, man. He was like, they just had so much of a stronghold on his movement, like, what to release,
Hmm.
when to release it,
Hmm.
how to release it, if he
Yeah.
could release it, right? And he
Right.
was like, "Man, I got this far from doing what I do. Like, I appreciate y'all getting behind me, the machine, but y'all basically
Mhm.
now y'all strangling my movement, right?" Because he was like,
Right.
they gave him like a ridiculous release date, man, and it was like they had dropped one record, and they felt so strongly about the record that they wanted to keep pushing the record, but not like in a fair amount of time. He was like, they were still trying to push the same record for 9 months, and
Right. Right.
during those 9 months, he wasn't allowed to do nothing else, right? Like,
Wow.
and then they did finally come to him and say, you know what, you're right, you're an artist. I know you got that creative thing in you. Drop as much as you want on a mixtape and don't sell it, right? And he was like, come on,
Mhm.
man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on,
Right.
how we
What I'm gonna
doing
do with
that?
that?
You feel me? What
Yeah.
what am I
Yeah.
supposed to do with that? I can't eat off that. What y'all doing ain't allowing me to eat. So I'm like, yeah. So I totally agree
Yeah.
with you, man. That major thing, I mean, a lot of cats still think that's the way to go.
Right.
I don't know this way, brother. I don't know about how to do it this way right now. I don't see it.
I agree with you. Shout out to you, Tay, man. He says on another note, I'm messing with the aesthetics of the podcast, even the chop and the choice of topics. Hey, we appreciate you, man, over here at the West With It Show. We building a family. Y'all make sure y'all go to our YouTube channel, West With It TV, and subscribe. We drop an episode every Sunday at 1 p.m. We got dope clips over there, hot takes, and we do a live like this one every third Sunday. So you'll see us again. We appreciate y'all tapping in, man. We trying to build a dope community that's got a different vibe and kind of, you know, dropping some gems and some game, bringing technology and production and some skills and knowledge into the arena. Um, Big Chago, man, Chago G, I see you, big brother. Thanks for tapping in, man. I know you all the way over there in Paris, man. Thank you for taking your time out. I know you be in the studio producing too. But thank you for tapping in with us. We appreciate y'all, fellas. We appreciate y'all. Um, Back to the point that you was making. I think the only way you can win with a major today is if you already have a solid business formation of your own and doing a partnership and retaining your ownership to certain degrees. Now, I think it's important to understand you can't partner with no major that's bringing major infrastructure, whether it's marketing dollars, sync licensing, TV looks. They're gonna want something in exchange for that. Um,
Mhm.
Unless you have enough muscle, and the muscle is what you're leveraging, which is your catalog or your popularity, which you already went and built without their help. Unless you have that, you don't have any leverage and muscle to come to the table and say, I want to sign a 85-15 or a 90-10, like Master P did, or like you saw with Cash Money, and then even Nipsey Hussle when he partnered with Atlantic. Now, the grind is probably gonna look more like Hustles because in the 90s there was physical units, so they were able to make money faster, and you could go get your UPC code and scan those out, sell them at mom and pop shops. Dude was, selling 100,000 units independently. That a major is going to come and invest in that, right? Because now
Mhm.
that money's already there. They just coming in and getting a cut, and now y'all just flipping money together. In today's game, um, the 360 deal is a thing about that Leo Corn created. When he came in and he was taking 20% of everything with merch, any appearances on TV, any shows or concerts you were doing, any features. They was
Mhm.
getting a piece of all of that, which was subsidizing their income for the loss of the physical, which was the CD, right? So
Mhm.
without that being the thing, you almost got to build your entire business already and have a working model that they can say, "Oh, this is flourishing. Let's come and
Mhm.
boost it," and then that way we'll be profitable. And you saw Nip grind for 10 years before he decided to do that and actually partner with Atlantic and got that. I think he got an 85-15, 80. It was definitely favorable on his end. But
Mhm.
Atlantic was the ones that put out Victory Lap, and you saw how that was rolled out. You saw the aesthetic. You saw the difference from when he dropped the street albums, because he
Mhm.
had that major label backing, but he was able to retain a lot of his ownership, masters, and publishing and things like that. But he had the leverage to do so. It wasn't like he was just delusional, saying I deserve it because I'm dope. He was like he actually did the
Yeah.
work, and he brought them to the
Yeah.
table. The work was already there. That he had a working model to show them like I'm already doing this. What do I need you for? And they can say, hey, we're going to act this, this, and this for this price, and then like you understand what the business relationship is. So from their
Yes, sir.
perspective, it makes sense, and from yours, it makes sense, right? I think
Yeah.
if it's not that, I think artists need to just buckle their shoes and lace their boots up and get to work. Um,
Yeah.
it's just my opinion. It's too many artists watching other artists and thinking that that success that you just found is something that happened for them overnight. Whether they got
Yeah, yeah,
50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, you think they popping. You don't know what their sales look like. You don't know what their back end is doing. You don't know what
mhm,
they bring in. They just know, obviously, they've been doing it a little bit longer than you, and they make it look a certain way. So I think if
yeah,
artists
yeah,
get they race blinders back on and stop looking to the next horse in the race lanes, then they'll start to do the building part, the work. I feel like at this stage, working in the studio, and it's not like it doesn't mean anything, but that's the easy part. If you're a
mm,
creative, creating something is easy. It's taking what you created, building a story around it, connecting with videographers, scheduling all the shoots. What am I going to wear? Uh, then figuring out a marketing rollout of what platforms fit best for this record. It's figuring all that stuff out. That can be a daunting task. And if you're not up to it, what you find is artists just posting a link. Hey, check me out. Posting a link. Hey,
yeah,
go stream this, right?
yeah.
And
I mean,
that
but you said it earlier, brother. You know, a lot of artists they look and see how other artists made it and figure
mhm,
that that works for them. You feel
right,
me?
right,
And yeah, that you was absolutely right with that one. They're absolutely wrong.
right,
You know, what
right,
works for them works for them. Now you
right.
could take a page out their book and make it your own,
Sure.
but it's not guaranteed.
Right. There ain't no guarantees in this game. I think hard work, dedication, and consistency is the only thing that's guaranteed. And then you
That's
got to
right.
still do that. If you don't do that, you don't
That's
know
right.
what you could have accomplished.
That's
Um,
right.
the spectrum of hip hop is what I think we were talking about before we kind of went down this trail. Because Tay is on the line. Um, Dante um, is a part of Hog Mob. Are you familiar?
Can't say I am, brother.
Okay, so Hog Mob and Seven and um, those are the brothers that I know like personally. But it's a bunch of brothers over there. Um,
Mhm.
it's Christian rap, right?
Okay. Okay.
And it's the kind of Christian rap that we can listen to. It's
Dope.
not DC talk. It's like that stuff where you could tell dudes was living a certain way, and
Mhm.
then they had a conversion, and
Mhm.
they were able to bring their talents to the street urban culture music side of things.
That's
Um,
dope.
do you think that spectrum is going to get more highlighting and more of a look with the changes that we see in culture happening with the Kendrick
Y-
and the Drake thing?
Yeah, I think it's room for it, bro. I think
Yeah.
it's room for it. Because here's the thing. It always goes back to my motto, authenticity, right? If
Hmm.
if 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 it's authentic and it's dope, it's room for it, bro. I mean, who with all the negativity in hip hop right now, who wouldn't want to change the pace and hear something positive, brother?
Sure,
You know
sure,
what I'm saying?
sure. And the way these dudes do it, man, it's done at a high level. It's done right, and they grind
That's
it, they
dope.
work, bro, and they show up, and they got their hands on the community. So shout out to them. I just think this time in hip hop is almost feels like I get that energy feel. You know what I'm saying? I get pumped up again
Hmm.
because there's so many
Yeah.
new looks and different tractions and people that have been down for so long starting to get they just do because of the changes and some of the work um, that's happening. And I think it's just a shift, like a narrative shift. People waking up like, oh, this is really cool, and
Yeah,
they
I mean, because you listening to garbage for so long, bro. When you
right,
listen to garbage
right.
for so long, and some finally come along with some substance, bro, you be
You're
like,
like,
"Hey,
oh,
what's
what's
that?"
this? Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, speaking of music, man, you just dropped a joint. Uh,
Yes, sir.
Love, Tay Love. You just dropped a joint. You want to tell the people about it?
Yeah, man, I just dropped a record, man. I'm coming off my R&B vibe, you know what I'm saying, with a loud silence, man. I
Yeah.
just had to come home, and
Right.
do some hip hop, man. I want
Right.
to really do some authentic,
Right.
original hip hop. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just
Right.
just grimy,
Yeah.
boom bap, in our case, West Coast boom slap.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you feel me? Go
And
back
I
to the
know it's
best.
hip hop because one of the elders they tapped in and they was like, "That's hip hop. That's West Coast hip hop." And I
You
thought
feel
that
me?
was dope that you had Corrupt on the phone, man, and he was gassed
Yeah,
about the track because he heard what you was doing.
yeah, yeah.
How was that moment for you, man? Because it's like once you get that, that's like a green light. It's like, oh, it's all put together then.
Yeah, it's dope, man. I mean, really truthfully, because we was talking about, just friendship things, right? And out the blue, Corrupt was like, "Man, what you got going right now?
Yeah,
What you dropping right now? What you got going?" I said, "Man, I just dropped this one thing." I said, "But I just," and it's funny when he asked because I dropped it that day. which
Mm-hmm.
was on the 3rd, a couple
Right.
days. Well, not the 3rd, a couple days ago.
Right.
And he was like, okay, let me hear it. So we went online, and I didn't even know you could do this with your iPhone, homie. Like from the iPhone, from the what was we on the
Oh,
what,
FaceTime. You can
FaceTime,
you
right?
can share it out. You can bang it out right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, homie.
Yeah.
He looked it up on Apple Music on
Yeah.
FaceTime. I seen him dialing it in. He
Yeah.
said, "Is that it?" I said,
Yeah.
"Yeah." Man, he
Yeah.
banged it, homie, and
Yeah.
it just went up from there, bro.
Yeah. FaceTime is an awesome
Yeah,
tool. And I'll tell you, you know me, we get into the tech over here. We talk about the tech too. Um,
yeah,
it's end to end encrypted, right?
yeah, okay,
So if you want to make that phone call, you just do the FaceTime audio. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
if you know, you know. We ain't got, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah. It was dope,
eh,
homie. It was
yeah.
dope. So when he heard it, he heard
Yeah.
everything you heard. He came off listening to it,
Right,
right? So he was
right,
like, "Yeah,
right,
this is
right.
it. This
Yeah,
is
so
it."
that's
So
dope, man. That's dope.
yeah,
That's
that
dope.
felt
Yeah.
good, man.
I like the track, man. It's got that bop. It feels like
Appreciate it.
West Coast hip hop. I agree with Corrupt. Um,
Mhm.
are you hip to the Universal Hip Hop Museum?
Oh yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Now they kicked off I want to say a year or two ago, they kicked out, did the opening about a year ago. They had a small media tour on the West Coast, small.
Hmm.
And I was talking to the brother that is like the curator of the museum. He's from the Bronx. Good dude.
Hmm.
Um, to my surprise, we don't
Hmm.
have a lot of footing. Uh, I'm not saying we're not present, but we don't have a lot of footing in the museum.
Yeah.
What do you think we would need to do to have that consideration or have them kind of possibly rethink that?
Well, you know what? From what I was told about it, we're supposed to. I heard that we was definitely going to have a footprint in it.
Hmm.
Um, and then I also heard too that it's supposed to shift to LA on the West Coast. A version of that museum supposed to shift out here to the West Coast where we
Okay.
definitely have it going cracking. So
Rocky Buchanan, I think his brother's
yeah,
name. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Uh, I was I was hitting him early because my man Doug had put me up on game, and I was hitting him early, and I just didn't want it to be a thing where obviously salute to the Bronx, right? Uh,
Hmm.
Sedgwick Ave, all that, like salute to the genesis of it,
Hmm.
but the rejuvenation and the expansion of it, you have to give it to the West Coast, and I'm not
Oh yeah,
just
you
saying
got it. Yeah,
because I'm
you
from
got
the
to
West
spread that
Coast.
hustle.
Yeah, it I don't know if it would have survived the '90s without the West Coast being present in the dynamic of the way that we were serving up hip hop,
Yeah.
which
Well,
allowed
so
the East
here's
Coast to continue to do their thing.
yeah, yeah. So here's what's so dope about the West, homie.
Right.
Kick your heels up. I'm
Hey,
finna,
please lace me, sir. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You feel me? I'm finna enlighten you, brother. So
Right.
here's
Right.
what make the West Coast so dope, bro. And this is where they got to give to us was yeah, reality rap was where we was finally being heard. But
Hmm.
once the West got his foot in the door, man, we was everything, bro. You know what I'm saying? We was reality rap, we
Hmm.
was backpack, we
Hmm.
was freestyle, we
Hmm.
were, you know what I'm saying? We were
Yeah.
Chicano rap, we
Yeah.
were, we showed everything hip hop was supposed to be, bro. No disrespect to the East, bro, but they had their boom bap, and that's kind of where you feel me? They
Right.
boom
Right.
bap and
Yeah.
their radio version of boom bap, but it was still
Sure.
just boom bap, right?
Right. Right.
We was over here doing
All kind
everything,
of
bro. And I don't
stuff.
even think the South has done that yet. I mean, they
No.
got J Electronica with
Yeah.
with the hip hop side, and
Right.
but the West, man, we showed everything, bro.
Um. Tay is asking, what's the name of the record D that you just dropped? So he could
It's called the realness.
the realness. The realness is
The
the name of the record
realness.
we was
Yeah.
talking about that Corrupt co-signing.
Yes,
You can
sir.
go to Dazzy D's Facebook page. You'll see the rollout. Um, I think the conversation is part of the rollout. We clipped up the FaceTime, and then you rolled into the record, and then the
Yes,
record is
sir.
on all DSPs if you want to go check that out.
Yes, sir.
Um, yeah. So we were talking about the dynamics that we brought to hip hop, and then that
Mhm.
almost rejuvenated hip hop. And then
Yeah.
I like what you said about the commercial or the radio version of boom bap, and then the
Mhm.
South and what they do. the most hip hop group to you from the South? I got one in mind. I want to see what yours is.
Hip hop,
You're right.
that's tough, bro.
Yeah.
Group,
It don't
that's
matter.
tough.
Just act that came out of the South that gave you that gave that sound and that feeling that was the closest they could do their version of it.
That's tough, bro. I don't
Mhm.
I don't have one. Like when I say when I think hip hop, I think hip hop, right? Like
Sure. Yeah.
not just the whole. I'm talking about the actual genre, right? The
Right.
subgenre.
Right.
I can't think of nobody, bro. I think Jay Electronica did his thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You
He's
did
still
mention
doing his
him. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like I
Outkast.
think I can't even give that to them, man. Not yeah. I mean that first album was dope, bro. But after that they kind of veered
Mhm.
on us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get it
Right.
wrong. They were still
They still
originality was still there, but it was,
right.
man, they start rapping at 200 BPM beats. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
It's getting
Music,
fast.
they got wild with it, which was
Right.
dope. But
Right.
hip hop, man, that's a hard one, bro. From the East, I mean, South. I'm quite sure I can, if I really sit and think, I can pull something out. But right now, my thing goes to Jay Electronica, man.
Hey, Chad,
Like,
thanks for
like
joining, man.
this is why I say Jay Electronica, because
Sure. Yeah, give it lay it on me.
I couldn't tell where he was from until he told us, right? Like I
Okay.
couldn't put my finger on where he was from.
I get that. I get that. Uh Chago says, good to see a positive podcast. Blessings to y'all. Tell Dazzy what it do.
Man, Shaw G, man, what's up, man? Let's take a little time, man, to give my brother his
Yeah.
his
Got to.
flowers, man. Shaw
Yeah.
G, man. Shaw G been around so long, man.
Yeah.
Shaw G is one of those G's, bro, that if you really take time to learn what this brother did in his catalog, you'll be like, man,
Yeah, he's dope.
he's held the West down, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Shaw,
Dope.
bro. I appreciate you,
Yeah.
homie.
I met the brother when I was doing I was working with Justified and them on Fathers in Hip Hop, and
Mhm.
he shot a video for us out at this mansion out in Corona, and um light camera, but he came through when he edited the thing up. It was wet.
Look, man, let me tell you about Shag, homie.
Yeah,
Shag is one
I
of
was
them
like, he did that with
homie.
that camera? Oh my god.
Look, let me tell you about Shag, homie. This is how I met Shag, bro. Shag, even though Shag is from Long Beach, bro, I
Yeah.
met Shag at a hotel, actually a motel in South Central in my hood, homie.
Word.
I went to it. I'm talking about, bro, and this was back in the day, homie. I'm talking about like, back in the day, homie. And he was the first cat, homie, to have a whole. He made his setup mobile, homie. He had the big ass tower.
Right.
He had MIDI controllers. He
Yeah.
had plugins. He had. It might have been Cubase at the time. I can't remember, bro. But he was recording whole albums from the motel, bro. I'm talking about like early
Wow.
2000s, like maybe even late 90s, homie.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy. Hey, shout out to
shot
Bill,
one of
Big
the
Bill,
ones,
man.
bro.
Love to you, bro. We appreciate you for tapping in. Make sure you subscribe, man. This is the West With It show. This is the live version. We do this every third Sunday. But
Yes,
we drop
sir.
a new episode every Sunday at 1 p.m.
1 p.m., man.
We trying to build a community of like-minded individuals, man. We don't just talk gossip and all that stuff. We talk culture. We talk tech, production. We got stories galore.
Yes,
And
sir.
we kind of just have a candid intellectual conversation about the culture and music and hip hop, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Once
sir.
again, thank y'all
Everything,
for
man.
joining, man. Shout out to Chog, man. Wonderful brother. Shout out to you too, Bill. Thanks for joining, bro. Um, like I said, he produced a video that was stunning, and I wasn't doubting his skill. It was just the final product was like beyond my expectation. I was like, okay, dope. And then he bounced to Paris on us, man. Then he left, so I didn't get a chance to visit.
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't get a chance to
Yeah.
double back on the brother, man.
Hey, man, you know what? Shock, homie. Shock, so cool. Shock, so cool, homie. This is where, and I love doing this, and we need to do this with a lot of cats from the West, or really
Sure.
anywhere that
Yeah.
haven't really got their just due, bro.
Yeah.
Shock was another brother that turned his place, his quarters into a facility, bro. Like he was the compound before the compound, homie. I'm gonna keep it 100. Last time I went to Shock spot when he was in Long Beach, homie, he had the studio up front. He had the He had the green screen room in the back.
Mm-hmm.
He had another like a dance rehearsal spot in the back. Homie,
Mm-hmm.
he had all, but he was his own foundation. He was his own system,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. That's dope. It's dope to see creatives that are comfortable stepping outside. Like again, he don't just rap. He sing,
Sing,
he
produce.
produce, mix,
Yes, sir.
master, video,
Yes, sir.
videography.
Yes,
Can
sir.
add all the effects, do the edit, everything came out right. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
Yes,
like your
sir.
homie just shot it and he gave you the video. Like he actually is a
Yes, sir.
creative
Cook.
in visual space, can cook.
Hey,
Right.
Shaka
Like,
didn't cook, homie. He even had a damn like a restaurant style kitchen back there,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
He asked me, he asked me, Dub, did I want some Reese's, homie?
yeah.
And I thought he had bought a bag of Reese's, right?
He made
He made his own damn Reese cups, bro. I'm talking about homemade.
yeah. Fire,
Shout out to
fire.
Sean.
See what I'm saying?
Sean ain't no joke, homie.
Yeah. See what I'm saying? But shout out to the brother, man. Real good dude, real good spirit, man. Yeah, Shot, when this go up, I'll get this to you, bro. And that's easy, man. That's easy.
Yes,
It's
sir.
love. Um, so this is what I mean. This is what I think. These types of things that we talking about. When I say
Mhm.
culture, to me, it's bigger than music, bro.
That part
We
right
got
there, homie.
relationships, we got lifestyle, we got skills and talents that go beyond just rapping or just beat making, right?
Mhm.
Um, and to me, I'm not saying no other coast has this or no other region has this, but that's what makes us unique because we all come from different communities that got different aspects of politics or whatever. But I think we finally figured out that we can't let that define us and stop us from connecting and
Yeah,
and we even have relationships that go beyond that, that prove this fact, right? And I
yeah.
think that's what makes us unique and dope because when we get to telling those stories, I don't think anybody else can do the same thing the way that we do it. Only we
Yeah,
can do
like you
it.
say, it goes back
Yeah,
to the culture, bro. All
yeah,
this is part of the culture, homie. All of this, and I'm quite sure each region has these type of stories, right?
yeah,
But we know we got them for sure, for sure.
yeah,
You
yeah,
feel me?
yeah,
And
100%.
that's dope. Homie, me and you got stories. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, we do.
From the, you know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure we get off into those at a later date, though. But
Yeah,
you
we
feel
we
me?
gonna dive into that. We're gonna say that for the next Sunday
Yeah,
live, man.
yeah, homie. So
Yeah, we got to
yeah,
sprinkle them a little bit at a time, man. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's dope, homie.
um, uh, YouTube is celebrating their 20th birthday. So it's been
Hmm.
20 years since YouTube was publicly launched.
Hmm.
I think I was an early adopter. I think I got on YouTube around 2006. What's your
Hmm.
earliest year you thought you was probably like on the platform grabbing content and videos and stuff?
You know what, homie? I'm gonna keep it way 1,000 with you, bro.
Mhm,
Like I dibbled and dabbled in YouTube, like you said.
mhm,
If I wanted to like watch an old video, listen to some music,
mhm.
so it's probably about 2006 for me too, right?
Okay,
But I'm
okay.
telling you right now, homie, I be on YouTube so much these days, bro. I don't even watch cable no more, bro.
Me neither. Me neither. I got the premium subscription to the YouTube, and that joint going to TV, and I
You feel
canceled
me?
the cable. I don't really watch that much TV anyway. But if I
You
am
feel
watching
me?
something that's content, it's either production or something to
That
do with
part,
hip hop or something to do with
that part.
technology. Like that's another great point. I think it's even more critical to curate your attention in today's world because there's so many things that you could be distracted by, right?
Yeah.
And so if there's one thing that YouTube is good at is once they learn your interests, they serve
Mhm.
up content that
Yeah.
keeps you locked in. So
Yeah.
if you don't like what you're seeing on YouTube, chances are you don't like yourself.
Yeah. That part.
You see what I'm saying? Like
That part. Oh,
if all the BS is popping up on YouTube and you like, damn, where the good stuff at? Then there's been something that you interacted with that YouTube feels like you enjoy. So therefore they're serving it up to you some more.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the way that I go. So when I jump on YouTube, I usually get something from you.
Mhm.
Even if I haven't watched it yet, it's something from you. It's something having to do with West Coast rap, West Coast hip
Mhm.
hop, low riders, or
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be honest with you, shooting some guns off in the woods somewhere.
Oh, okay.
That's the
Okay.
other thing.
See.
I mean, saying the bushcraft stuff. So, um, shout out to YouTube. Shout out to them building a platform um, that allowed creatives to monetize. I think the way you monetize on YouTube is probably one of the best that I've seen, and they payouts and
Yes,
stuff.
sir.
Even though they're not gonna give the creator everything,
Yeah.
but if you're looking to make money off of your art and something that you create, I think YouTube it should be a focal point of your plan.
Yeah. I
Especially
mean, YouTube, homie. YouTube really, they become a one-stop shop, homie. I
sure.
really, like you said, man, I get on YouTube, bro. I can watch any and everything, bro. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From like you say, tech stuff, man. My NPC, you know what I'm saying? I follow 3 or 4 brothers
Yeah.
that represent that NPC. Lovely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could get off into a little comedy with
Mhm.
what's his name? Ja, Big
Okay.
Ja.
Big job.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Yeah, I
Yeah.
got my little comedy time with
Yeah.
him, man. Then
Yeah.
you know, I get off into my lessons, my daily lessons, man. I love YouTube. Shout out to YouTube, bro.
Shout out to YouTube, man. So, um, we pushing up on an hour. Um, we want to thank everybody for joining. We're gonna go into our final thought segment. I'll give mine, D. I think that we need to continue to do what we're doing.
Mhm.
Don't be scared or hesitant to support your homies if they pushing, if they being authentic and they pushing and doing something, support them. Don't
Yes,
cost
sir.
nothing to click the like button. Don't cost nothing to comment. Don't cost nothing to share. Um,
That part.
you choose whatever how you gonna do it, but you know,
That part.
engage with them. Let them know they being seen. Let them know their hard work is being seen.
That
Because
part.
the algorithm is something that we are battling against in terms of trying to push through the noise and be recognized. The long nights in the studios, the early morning photo shoots, scheduling the videos, talking to the videographer, paying them out, getting our cover art, mixing and mastering,
Mhm.
chopping up samples. I mean, all these things take time. All these things take energy. And the only thing you want at the end of the day is your product to be respected and people to say, "Oh, that's dope. I see."
That
So
part.
support your homies, dog. You know what I mean? Let's keep that vibe going.
That
Go
part.
ahead, D. Give him to him, man. Give it to him.
Yeah. I kind of want to, you know, I got the same sentiments, man, as my brother Don Dub. I want to say support your artists, man. Support the artists. Look, here's my thing. We got peers, right? We got the 90s where the West Coast was, you know, at the top peak, right? Please, fans of the West Coast, stop holding on to what we did in the 90s, brother, and start appreciating and adapting and adjusting and supporting the same artist that was in the 90s that's doing it right now at a high level. Support this new movement of the West, bro.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like I get on social media, man, and I got a lot of my homies and a lot of fans, man. They'll post a video that one of us did in the 90s faster than what I just dropped yesterday.
Hmm.
You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I
Right,
get it. I get it's nostalgia. I
right,
get it. I get it. And
right.
that's when, but homie, you got to support the artists that's still doing it at a high level now.
Hmm.
You feel me? Support me, man. I just dropped these records, bro. I'm showing that it's no slowing with me, bro. So I would appreciate it if you take time to like, share, and just represent any artist from the West, especially from those days that's still doing it now. That's all.
100%. Yeah. And with that final word, we want to say thank you for tapping in. This is the West With It Show. It's the live that we have every third Sunday. We drop a new episode every Sunday at 1 p.m. Please subscribe to our YouTube. Check us out on IG at West With It TV. You can also find me and Dazzy D on Instagram. You'll see our pages up over there. Tap in with us. Tell us, hey, check out one of our clips, laugh at them, disagree with them, share them, whatever you feel. We need that engagement. We appreciate y'all, man. And with that, we gone west.
Wiz.